What's up YouTube, and welcome to a quick and easy text-based tutorial. Today we've got this grass effect. There's a link to everything you're going to want in the description down below, the image for the grass, any fonts that I've used, and the two colors that I've used in the design. And the canvas size is 2000 pixels by 2000 pixels. And with all that said, let's get started. Once you've created your canvas, we're going to go up to our colors. We're going to grab this light grey right hidden in the bottom left hand corner of your palette and drag and drop it onto the screen. Then we're going to go ahead and go to our layers. We're going to create a new layer. We're going to go to our colours, double tap in the top left hand corner, grab your selection tool and the ellipse, turn on the option down here of colour fill, and all we're going to do is just add in a light source at the top of the screen. So we're just going to simply just draw in a big sort of ellipse here, make sure it's even on both sides. And something like that looks pretty good. And if you let go, tap on your selection tool when you're done, go to your adjustments, Gaussian blur, and swipe from left to right, and that will blow out the top area of the screen, making it nice and bright. Something around about 50% will do the trick. Tap on your adjustments when you're done. Now let's go ahead and add in our text. So let's go to our colors, double tap at the bottom of your disk to select black, go to your actions, go to the add option, and tap on add text. If we double tap on the text that's dropped in and we go to the fonts here, we can scroll all the way through our fonts and we want to go right to the top until we find Arial Rounded Empty Bold. I'm going to tap on that and I'm going to go ahead and switch out my keyboard, and then I'm going to type in grass and making sure it's all in capitals. And then we're going to go ahead, and once we've done that, grab your cursor, scale that up, scale it up a little bit more, and a little bit more than that again. And then once you're happy with your positioning, if you turn on snapping and turn that on in the bottom left hand corner, you should get the orange lines running both vertically and horizontally once you've hit the center of your canvas, like so. Tap on your cursor when you're done. We're now going to go ahead and add in the actual grassy effect around the outside just to break up the solid shape. Go to your layers, create a new layer, go to your brush, and if you go right down to the bottom in organic, you'll find the sword grass. Now my brush size is set to 2% for this. And what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in on every letter, and we're just going to run our pen all the way around the outside of the text, creating a much softer, broken up design and making it look a lot more like grass. That's all you need to do. You don't need to worry about the inside, and continue on through all the other letters like so, going all the way around. Breaking up that text. Now let's move on to the A. Go around here. Try not to link your letters in any way, so just be careful that the A and the R there don't link together. It's very close for me. Moving across to the S. There's not a very sort of specific set of instructions here other than to continue go all the way around all your text and creating a nice grassy outline. So we get right back to the beginning, break up any edges if you need to, make sure they're nice and round. And the final S, going all the way around. And we're nearly there, right back to the beginning, and that's it. We've got our nice grassy outline. Now what we need to do is, this is a different layer and a different color for a minute. So we're going to go to our layers. We're going to merge the grassy outline that we just had here and the text together. So we're going to pinch those two together. We're then going to tap on the layer. If we alpha lock it and tap on the layer and fill it, it will now go a full solid black, and we've got our grass ready to go. So the next step is to go ahead and add in the actual grass image. So you can swipe up on your dock from the very bottom of your iPad. If you haven't got Chrome available or Safari, it will be in your app library here on the far right, but I do. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on that, drag it to the left hand side of my iPad. If I make that 1/3 and the Procreate canvas 2/3, we have the image here that I've put in the description down below. And if you pop your finger on the image, it'll eventually pop out onto your finger, and then you can drag and drop it into Procreate. And we're done then with the browser. You can grab this little handle in the middle and just simply drag that off. Now we don't need to adjust the size of this text at all. We're going to tap on our cursor. The only thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our adjustments, hue, saturation and brightness. and we're going to lower the saturation down to about 40%. And then we're going to tap on our adjustments when we're done. Now we need to go ahead and go to our layers. We need to tap on the grass and clipping mask it to the actual text. And now you can see what the shape is that we created and with the grass effect inside it. Now we need to go ahead and add in some highlights and shadows to really finish off this design. So let's create a new layer. We need to tap on that layer and clipping mask it. We need to tap on the grass layer itself, the base layer for this design. Tap on it and select the shape of it. Now it's very important we turn off color fill for a minute, so turn that off in the bottom right, and then go to the option of invert. So we've now got everything around the outside selected. If we go to our layers, we go back up to the empty layer here, tap on it and fill it. We'll end up with a layer that's completely full other than the grass text itself. Swipe that layer to the left hand side and duplicate it. Tap on it and then invert the top one. We've now got a highlight and a shadow ready to go. So for the shadow, we're going to tap on that layer. We're going to grab our cursor and we're going to move that text up towards the top left hand corner, and you'll be able to see your black areas of your text pop onto the text itself and onto the screen. Now you can create a shadow, something like that. Tap on your cursor. If we zoom in, you can get an idea for where I've put my shadows. And all we're going to do is go up to our layers. If we tap on the N that stands for normal for its layer option and scroll down and change that to overlay, then the darker side now is going to let through a little bit of the green, but it's still going to have a nice contrasting shadow there. We're then going to go ahead and go to our layers. We're going to go to our highlight layer now and do the same, but in the opposite direction. So we're going to grab our cursor, drag it down to the bottom right, and you'll bring in a nice white edge on that top left hand side of the text. Tap on your cursor when you're done. And if we go to our layers, tap on the N, scroll down and change that to soft light. We'll end up with a really soft looking set of green colors on the very left hand side, but they're a bit too dull. So we're going to go to our layers, swipe it to the left and duplicate it. And you can then tap on the top one and then maybe lower its opacity down just to about sort of 65%, maybe 70, somewhere in that range. And you'll end up with a bit of text, which is now looking a lot more 3D, and we've got this beautiful highlighted edge and a nice shadowed edge. But let's go ahead and take those shadows one step further by adding a nice casted shadow onto the space underneath the text. Let's go to our layers. If we go to the original grass layer again and swipe that to the left hand side and duplicate it, the bottom one out the two, if you tap on that and turn off the alpha lock, go to your adjustments, go to motion blur, and let's drag this out. So let's go for something in quite a steep angle, but something maybe around about sort of 25% will do the trick. So in the same angle of our lighting, but we need to grab our cursor and get rid of the shadow on the top left hand corner. So we just drag that down until we end up with a really cool casted shadow like that, making sure there's no shadow pushing over on that left hand edge. Tap on your cursor when you're done, and you can see we've now added that shadow only down here and out of sight on that left edge. You can then go ahead and tap on your layers again, tap on the N and lower its opacity down, and you can drag that down to maybe something around about sort of 63% will do the trick. Tap away and your text now has got a nice casted shadow. But let's just emphasize that a little bit more around the actual text itself. So we're going to go to our layers. We're going to go to the grass layer again, swipe it to the left and duplicate it. The layer underneath it now, we need to repeat the process of tapping on that layer and turning off the alpha lock. We're going to tap on the N value here and change that to overlay. And we want to just simply emphasize the shadow a bit closer to the text. So all we're going to do is go up to our adjustments again and motion blur, dragging that diagonal action exactly the same angle as you did before, dragging that out. Except this time you only want to do something very small. So something roughly around about sort of 12 or 13% will do the trick. Then grab your cursor and move it down to the bottom right again. And then once you do that, you'll end up with a much darker sort of set of shadows right nice and close to the text, but again away from that top right edge. And tap on your cursor when you're done. Then go to your layer, tap on the O and lower that opacity down to about sort of 40% will do the trick, like so. And that's it. We can now go ahead and add in some text above and below. So I'm going to go to my colors first of all and grab this color here in the top left hand corner of our palette. I'm going to go to my layers, go right to the top. And then I'm going to go to my actions and hit the add option again and then add text. If I double tap on the text and go to my fonts, I'm going to scroll all the way down and I'm going to find the Oliver Blush font. I'm going to just change this out. So if I double tap on the text again and grab the keyboard option here, I'm going to change that to the, and grab my cursor and move that down. So it's above the text like so. And then I'm going to go to my layers and you can swipe that layer to the left if you want and duplicate it. Grab your cursor, drag that underneath your text now. Tap on your cursor when you're done. Double tap on the text and double tap on it again to select it. Go to your keyboard and we're going to change that to isn't always greener. And my font size, in case you're interested, is 36.4 for both the top line and the bottom line. And if I go full screen with 4 fingers, we end up with today's finished design. So a quick and easy grass effect tutorial. If you like this video, drop a like down below, helps the channel out an awful lot. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button for weekly Procreate content. And be sure to share your designs with me over on Instagram. There's a link to all my socials in the description down below. And if you can't get enough Joel Create tutorials, there's a link in the description down below to my Patreon. Shout out to all my patrons. I'll throw their names up on the screen now. You can get access to 3 exclusive tutorials every single month, as well as extra benefits such as early access to YouTube videos, extra benefits on my Discord server, and much more. And if you're interested in any of the equipment I'm using, the Sketchboard Pro that you can use code JoelCreate for 10% off, or the Paperlike screen cover, or the pen tips grip and glove, there's links to everything in the description down below. And with all that said, I'll see you in the next one.